We have a statement attributable to the spokesperson for the Secretary General on the ICC arrest warrant for President Al-Bashir. The International Criminal Court has today issued a warrant for the arrest of President Omar Hassan Al-Bashir, President of the Republic of Sudan, for his alleged responsibility for crimes committed in Darfur. The Secretary General recognizes the authority of the International Criminal Court as an independent judicial institution. The Secretary General trusts that the Government of Sudan will address the issues of peace and justice in a manner consistent with Security Council Resolution 1593. The United Nations will continue to conduct its vital peacekeeping, humanitarian, human rights and development operations and activities in Sudan. The Secretary General calls on the Government of Sudan to continue to cooperate fully with all UN entities and their implementing partners, while fulfilling its obligation to ensure the safety and security of the civilian population, UN personnel and property, and that of its implementing partners. The Secretary General calls on all parties to work in good faith toward a political solution to end the conflict in Darfur. He also calls on the parties to the Comprehensive Peace Agreement to recommit themselves to the full and timely implementation of the agreement, which remains the basis for the long-term peace and security in Sudan. According to the ICC, the Sudanese president is suspected of being criminally responsible as an indirect co-perpetrator for intentionally directing attacks against an important part of the civilian population of Darfur, Sudan, murdering, exterminating, raping, torturing, and forcibly transferring large numbers of civilians and pillaging their property. This is the first warrant of arrest ever issued for a sitting head of state by the ICC. According to the judges, the above-mentioned crimes were allegedly committed during a 5-year counter-insurgency campaign by the Government of Sudan against the Sudanese Liberation Movement, the SLM Army, the Justice and Equality Movement, JEM, and other armed groups opposing the Government of Sudan in Darfur. According to the ICC, a core component of that campaign was the unlawful attack on that part of the civilian population of Darfur belonging largely to the Fur, Masalit, and Zaghawa groups, perceived to be close to the organized armed groups opposing the Government of Sudan in Darfur. The court says that his status as a sitting head of state does not grant him immunity against prosecution. If arrested, he will be tried on 5 counts of crimes against humanity and 2 counts of war crimes. He has not been indicted on charges of genocide, the pre-trial chamber said. ICC prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo said at the press conference in The Hague a few hours ago that he has strong evidence to prove that President Bashir has committed war crimes and crimes against humanity. There is a press release with more detail from the ICC upstairs. From the field, the security situation in Darfur today was reported as relatively calm. The Government of Sudan this morning conducted a ground and aerial show of force in El Fasher, North Darfur, and Niala in South Darfur. Peaceful demonstration took place in El Fasher, Niala, and El Geneina, West Darfur, as well as in Khartoum, following the ICC announcement that it has issued an arrest warrant for the Sudanese president. More demonstrations have been scheduled for tomorrow. The African Union, United Nations mission in Darfur, reports that UNAMID police and peacekeepers continue to carry out their normal patrolling activities and are closely monitoring developments throughout the region, particularly in and around the IDP camps. And in response to questions we are getting, the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs informs us that of 12 NGOs summoned by the Sudan Government Humanitarian Aid Commission, 6 have already confirmed that their legal registrations have been revoked, that a list of assets must be produced for seizure, and that they must leave North Sudan with immediate effect. The United Nations was notified that officials from the Sudan government have insisted on accompanying some NGO staff members into their offices and taking lists of assets and staff.